Is there evidence that the flood was global? The first book of the Bible, the book of Genesis, chapters 6 to 8, tells about a great worldwide flood. Such a major flood would surely leave much evidence. When we look around the world, we do indeed find much evidence. Most scientists claim that the past can be understood by what is happening in the world today. The Bible describes a worldwide flood that was so great that it cannot be understood by looking at modern floods. I will list several examples from a study of the earth that a great catastrophe once involved the whole earth. Number 1, fast-moving water. Fast-moving water can erode away dirt, sand, and even rock. When the water slows down, the dirt, sand, and rock are dropped. This sediment may contain minerals that can be weathered away quickly. In the San Francisco area of California, beds of sediments hundreds of feet thick contain minerals that would have been destroyed if not buried quickly. Such beds can be seen in many other areas worldwide. These sediments could not have been laid down slowly over thousands of years. Otherwise, the minerals would have been destroyed by weathering. Such beds tell us that a great quantity of water was involved and the sediment was deposited and buried quickly. Number 2, conglomerate. Stones that are rolled around by waves or currents become rounded and are called wash rock, also called conglomerate. Conglomerate beds are common all over the world. One bed that I have studied in Alberta, Canada, contains granite boulders of football size that have been washed several hundred miles from the Rocky Mountains, the nearest source of this kind of rock. This bed is close to 100 feet thick and extends over several hundred square miles. Similar beds of even greater extent are present east of San Diego, California, along the Columbia River in Washington and Oregon, on the east flank of the Bighorn Mountains of Wyoming, in the Grand Canyon in Arizona, and along the Bay of Fundy, Nova Scotia, Canada, only to mention a few in North America. The northwest flanks of the Swiss Alps consist of mountains of uplifted conglomerate that have been washed off of the Alps. In the past, great sheets of moving water dumped wash rock into thick layers that extend for hundreds of miles in all directions. No similar deposits of this extent are being produced in the world today. Number 3, red wall and other beds. Many beds, such as the red wall of the Grand Canyon, can be traced for thousands of miles. The red wall, or its equivalent, extends north all the way to Canada, east to Niagara Falls in New York, and south to Mammoth Caves in Kentucky. An equivalent is even found on the top of Mount Everest, the world's highest mountain. Also evidence of such widespread water is thin bands of clay called tonsteins that appear in or between coal seams. Some of these 1 or 2 inch laminations spread across thousands of square miles in Europe. Such massive and far-reaching beds require continent-wide, if not worldwide, flooding. The current direction indicators in the red wall and similar beds show a generally east to west movement of water. Modern rivers and seas produce currents in various directions depending on the topography of the country. Coal is composed of buried plant material that has been subjected to heat, pressure, and chemical action. Some coal beds can be very thick. In the United States and Canada, there are beds that are over 100 feet thick. Some coal seams in Europe and Australia are several hundred feet thick. Geologists claim that coal is produced from buried marshes and peat bogs. Since it takes several feet of peat to be compressed into 1 foot of coal, seams of coal several hundred feet thick would require peat bogs over 1,000 feet thick. No peat bogs of such depth are found in the modern world. Therefore, such thick coal seams require conditions in the past that are not happening in the present world. Some coal seams in the eastern United States can be traced north and south for hundreds of miles. Such geographical extent and such thickness require massive water movements on a very large scale. A worldwide flood, as described in Genesis, would be expected to lay down sediments over very broad geographical areas, and that is what we see in the geological record.